Hello, all my beautiful people. Welcome back to the Midgard podcast. Today, we are going to be discussing serial killings? I don't know yet. This has been happening for the past 2 years. It's the Lady Bird Lake serial killer. I've been hearing a lot about this. It's relatively new and it's in my backyard. And if you hear background noise, I'm always on the move constantly. And I'm currently at a restaurant right now. So if you hear some stuff, that's probably why. But today we're going to be discussing the Lady Bird Lake killings. And it may or may not be what you think. All right. We're also reading from the Baymont Enterprise. That's the this is where I got the article from. I'll read this one first. Serial killer concerns near Lady Bird Lake in Central Texas. On June 27th, the body of a Moga Dogal, I'm really bad at reading names, so bear with me, was found in Lady Bird Lake in Austin, making this the fifth body found this year. This year's fifth body follows 5 additional bodies around the same time in the same area in 2022, which is crazy. I mean, 5 bodies found within the same year at the same place. Austin police posted a video briefing during the recovered body on Facebook and stated local officials did not have a public safety announcement referring to serial killers concerns. So they basically don't think it's a serial killer. There's no evidence pointing to the fact. But they did mention to be mindful of water safety and noted that the water is inherently dangerous by its nature. Oh yeah, it's water. Of course it's dangerous. KXAN Austin has created a map of the bodies where they were recovered and updates on the cause of death. The first body was recorded on July 14th, 2022. 10 bodies have been found so far. Out of the 10, 5 are not being under investigation and ruled as no foul play and accidental drowning, according to the report. In April, police recovered Christopher Hayes Clark, another male body, but it was ruled again as an accidental drowning, which there's the first red sign for me, or red flag for me. I said red sign. How can they all be? There's been 10 bodies and they're all considered accidental drownings, or at the very least 5 of them were considered accidental drownings. This seems like a lot of killings just for there to be no actual consideration that there is something going on here. It doesn't make sense to me. Austin, it says right here that Austin police have shot down public rumors of a serial killer. According to multiple reports, officials told KXAN that the evidence does not support a serial killer threat and that there are no strong connections to the deaths. Okay, there's no strong connections other than the fact that they were all middle-aged men and they were all apparently heavily drinking. It says here that public opinion on social media has sparked concerns about the number of bodies found within 12 months. A separate report from a drowning in April on CBS Austin shows a local being vocal. That's an accidental rhyme. A local being vocal about more security and surveillance to have a better eye view of what's going on around the lake. Out of the 10 bodies recovered, only 6 have been identified in the report. So 4 of the bodies, they still don't have names over. Okay. Now I do have a list of excuse me. I do have a list of the victims. June 27th, 2023, Moga Dogel. Body was found near 1000 block. Oh, 1000 blocks. That was poorly written. Near 1000 blocks of West Cesar Chavez Street. That was really weirdly written. I feel like they should be fired. The information, the APD, this is not being investigated as a homicide. Christopher Hayes Clark, no foul play or suspicious circumstances are involved. Jonathan Honey, near 10 Rainy Street, medical examination, accidental drowning. Clifton Axtell, not suspicious at the time. Jason John, accidental drowning. I'm sorry, I had to take care of something for a minute. Anyway, where was I? Right, we were discussing the autopsy reports of some of the certain victims of the Lady Bird Lake deaths. Let's talk about John Jason, just for a moment. The report for John Jason, he was a 30-year-old man, and he was found dead in the Lady Bird Lake near Rainy Street. Beginning of the year, he was also at the beginning of the year, yeah. The Travis County Medical Examiner's office determined his cause of death was of drowning, and the manner of the death was ruled accidental. The report read, according to the reports, this 30-year-old man was witnessed by a transient bystander to be vomiting by the bank of Lady Bird Lake, and then subsequently fell and submerged into the water in the early morning of February 5th, 2023. After attempting to aid the deceased, the bystander went to a nearby hotel and contacted 911. The report read, it's just strange. To me, it's just strange to me. The report also said that John had no significant internal or external injuries, and that there were no fractures or traumatic injuries found. John's toxicology report, however, showed that alcohol was in his system, but no illegal drugs were detected. And then there's Martin Gutierrez. I'm going to be butchering all these names, just so y'all know. Martin Gutierrez previously reported on the death of that man in the same area in 2018. 2018, huh? The medical examiner's office also determined that Martin Gutierrez was 25, died by accidental drowning. So this doesn't even go back the past 2 years. This has been going back for the past 6 years, since 2018, which is interesting. There's been 10 deaths. The autopsy also found that there was a bruise on the lower part of Gutierrez's head, but no skull fracture or brain injuries and swelling in his brain or chest cavities. The report stated that Gutierrez had his ID and his banking card on him when he was found. It added that he was a proficient swimmer, so he was a good swimmer, shouldn't have drowned, and he had no history of seizure disorder, or any history of illegal drugs or prescription drug use. The more I look into this investigation, the more it just doesn't add up. Like, why are all these people dying in this one fucking lake? Why is no one asking the right questions? Why are they all dying from a very specific way, like accidental drowning, and others are, they can't even tell what killed them? All right, let's see here. Let's see if we can find anything else on the deaths. Police have found 10 bodies in the past 20 months, but if we count, what was his name again? If we count Martin Gutierrez, then we can safely say that 11 bodies have been found in the past 6 years. And what's striking me is there's always no connection to serial killer, no foul play, no nothing. Let's just read more about the victims. John Christopher Hayes Clark. He was 30 years old. And he was described as to be a great father who left behind a 12-year-old boy. His son, I suppose. So then we start to think one of or two things are happening here. If it's not a serial killer, then it's either an accident or suicide. I'm going to rule out suicide. Right here, John Christopher Hayes, he was a great father, and he had a son that he loved very much. So clearly he could not have, there was no option for suicide for him. What about Jason John, 30 years old? JJ, also known as, he was 30 and he lived in Austin, Texas. John was born on November 25th. Jason John's body was found 8 days after he went missing. He was last seen leaving Rainy Street, walking towards the Ann and Roy Butler hike and bike trail around Lady Bird Lake. In an area that is notoriously dark, the television station reported, adding that his partner, Tara Hoda, later asked city officials to install lights and cameras on the trail. Unfortunately, I will have to live with the mystery for the rest of my life, not knowing how or why my partner fell into the water and drowned to his death, she told the television station. No explanation whatsoever about how he died or why he died. Clifton Angston, 40 years old. According to his obituary, Clifton Angston was a beautiful, bright ball of energy, so we can rule out suicide. He was a son, brother, husband, father, nephew, uncle, and grandson. Cliff loved his family deeply. He departed this earth on March 5th, 2023, and is profoundly missed by all that who love him, the obituary says. Cliff was married to a Megan McKnight, and he worked as a land specialist. It doesn't make, he was a happy person, so it had to be accidental drowning, right? But what was accidental about it? It doesn't make any sense. All of these men, Jonathan Honey, look at this picture. He looks so happy. Bro, if you could see, I'm gonna put the picture up. Jonathan Honey, he looks so happy. He's just carrying a fish. He was 33 years old. He was last seen at a food truck on Rainy Street. It says here, passed away at the age of 33 due to a tragic accident. And right here, he loved shooting sports, fishing, and was adept at boat maintenance, according to the obit. So, we're looking at a guy who was good at fishing, boating. He probably swam a lot. We can affirm to that. So how the fuck did he accidentally drown? And I get it. The currents of the water are pretty strong. Medical examiner ruled his death as an accidental drowning. Once again, while intoxicated. Like, it doesn't make any sense. He would have been a good swimmer. He was intoxicated, yes. But even at my drunkest, I would still know how to swim. Well, I'm a good swimmer, though, so. Riad Hammond. Some people... Ryan Hammond his body was also found in the lake wrapped in duct tape. Riad Hammond was murdered in 2008. 2008? So this goes way farther than we think. Riad Hammond, I always called him Ryan, was an Austin school teacher and peace activist. And he also died, but he was murdered near, and then his body was, I guess, was dumped at Lady Bird Lake. Found floating in the water, deceased, with his legs and hands bound and his eyes covered in duct tape. Damn. We also have multiple unidentified persons. Jose Moreno? Holy shit, I'm butchering these names so bad. I am sorry to the deceased. I really am. But y'all have some crazy names. December 19th, 2022. Moreno was found near 1100 blocks of West Riverside Drive. A man was charged with his murder in the shooting. So this one was shooting. Was shot while driving a pickup. Joel Santiago Gonzalez. Okay, so this guy, Moreno, was shot. And that's where that ends. Unidentified person, found July 14th, 2022. Body was found. And then Julio Santos was also found. She was floating, or his? That's a male. His body was found floating in Lady Bird Lake. Austin police said that there was no suspicious trauma, and okay. What the fuck is going on at this lake? I think I have some theories. Cole Christensen, 21, not suspicious. Aaron David Horoblick, 25, went down with his friends Thursday night. He hailed an Uber and they dropped him off outside. And he was found floating in the water at Lady Bird Lake around 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. Santiago Gonzalez Bercura, 23, was found in 2015 in Lady Bird Lake after Bercura's sister reported him missing on November 26th, Thanksgiving, to the University of Texas Police Department. Once again, found dead. Randy Lexvold. In 2019, Lexvold likely fell from a bridge into the water and likely drowned, the statesman said, reported. Once again, just likely drowned. These were all the people that were found dead in Lady Bird Lake. What's going on? I think I have a theory. But first, I would like to discuss the demographic of the area. Trust me, it'll make sense. Alright. Around the area of Lady Bird Lake, there is downtown, Barton Hills, Rosedale, and these are the these are the neighborhoods that are surrounding the lake. The reason why I mention is because the demographic of this lake is indeed mostly German, and this isn't what you think I'm thinking of. I'm not saying that there's Nazis there, but the ancestry of the area surrounding the lake is important. Sorry, coffee. It's important because we're not here to talk about a serial killer. I don't think a serial killer is doing this. Some of them might have been a human. Some of them might have been just wrong place, wrong time. But I believe most of the deaths were caused by a creature known as a Nyx or a Nixie. A Nixie, hold on, let me just pull up Wikipedia real quick. Under a variety of names, they are common to the stories of all throughout, although they are perhaps best known for the Nyx are types of river mermen or mermaids who may lure men into drowning. They're usually described as water spirits that reside in lakes and rivers, and often depicted as beautiful, seductive figures that can be dangerous. They usually lure their victims, luring people with their looks and their seductive ways into the water and drown them, much like kelpies or sirens. And the reason why I say I think this is a Nyx is because a Nyx is a German creature, a German spirit that lures people to their death by drowning. And most of these people were found as accidental drownings, quotations. That's my idea. That's my theory. I believe this is the real theory. I believe this is true because it just always points to the Nyx. I mean, they are beautiful seductresses, which I guess there's no evidence saying that the person that did this was a beautiful seductress, but they're beautiful seductress. Nyxes lure men to their watery graves, and their victims always die by drowning. There are no suspects, no foul play. I mean, they can't find a suspect if they're not looking for a specific, if they're not looking for that thing, right? Right? They're not going to think, oh, it's a Nyx. No, these myths are, to the modern day person, not true. Except for me, I believe all these things are true. And the fact that they're in a German populated area surrounding Lady Bird Lake, I don't know. All of the evidence points to the culprit being a Nixie. Now, how do you kill a Nixie? There are a few ways. You can do offerings or appeasement, offer something and try to appease them. Maybe they'll be nice enough to let you go or let other people go. There are also, of course, magical rewards and charms that you can find. You can probably use some Germanic talismans or bottles filled with herbs to protect you from various items. And any herb that protects you from evil would work, like nettle. You can also try to find and destroy the source of its power. Some legends involve identifying the source of the creature's power and its connection to the physical world and destroying it. And there's also negotiation. You can just talk to it. You can be like, hey, yo, I can bring you other victims and you can just leave me alone, right? If you're a scumbag and want to work like that. Actually. Damn, that could actually work with some of the other victims. Like the man that was shot. Forgot his name already, damn. But the man who was shot, he could have been an offering. That's interesting to think about. Alright, but that's where I'm gonna wrap it up here. I am your host. Damn, I forgot my name again. You know what, I don't have a name. Y'all give me a name if anybody is interested in this podcast. I still have 0 views. But, yeah, y'all give me a name, and I'm going to be signing off from here. Of course, y'all stay protected. The supernatural entities, they're powerful, but they're not immortal. They are not invincible. There are ways to deal with these supernatural creatures. Just make sure that you are ready. I have my bottle of herbs. I have my silver. You get some too. Peace out, and thank you for enjoying the Midgard podcast.